Hello, guys. Happy Monday. Welcome to this week's Monday Motivation. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. You got some rest, you got some work done, whatever was on your plate. I hope you made some progress. So we have arrived at Monday again. And I do these videos and I started this series because Monday sometimes be a whole mood. Sometimes it just be like, and it's hard enough. So I try to come on and provide you guys with a word of uplifting and try to help motivate you and kind of get you over the hump of the top of the week. So this week's topic is don't change for them. And here's what I mean by that. I've mentioned in previous videos how I think that evolution as a person, growth, all of those things, self-examination, I promote those to the fullest. I strive to be the best version of myself and just get better and better with every day and as time goes on. And I'm not the same person I was a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, just over this past year. Even aside from the pandemic, just other things I was dealing with in my personal life, I've grown so much. And I feel like if there's things about yourself that you recognize that you can grow in and you can get better in, I am all for that. That self-examination, recognizing when you can improve in a certain aspect of your life, that's wonderful. But make sure that you're doing it for you. Don't do it for anyone else, because ultimately what's going to happen is if you try to implement a change and you don't have the proper intentions behind it and you're just doing it for someone else, number one, it's not going to stick. It's not going to stay. It's just going to be like a temporary thing, because you're not going to really take it seriously because you didn't feel that in your spirit that you wanted to change. You're doing it for something or someone outside of yourself. That's number one. It's not going to stick. And depending on how drastic of a change it is, 9 times out of 10, if you're doing it for someone else or something else, it's going to lead to resentment. Absolutely. If you're changing solely for someone else's benefit, or you're doing it for someone to like you or to love you, heaven forbid, that's not the right reason to do it. If you're going to make some type of shift or change within yourself as a person, make sure that you are doing it for you and not for anyone else. Secondly, don't try to change anyone else. I can't emphasize this enough. One of my absolute favorite sayings in the world is from the famous Maya Angelou: when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Don't try to repaint them. Don't try to make them into anything other than who they show you, because if you meet someone, you're just getting to know someone. You don't know anything about this person. So at first glance, you don't know how this person handles situations. You don't know their behavioral patterns. So as you're getting to know someone, it's like, okay, if you see certain things here or there, it's like, all right, well, I didn't like this about them, or I don't like how they spoke about this or how they deal with this. But at the end of the day, patterns don't lie. And it really doesn't matter if this is a friend, a romantic partner, a business associate. When you're around someone else and you're getting to know someone else, all you're doing is taking in data. You're taking in data points about that person, whether it be good or whether it be bad. It's like, okay, this is how they feel about X, Y, and Z. This is how they view X, Y, and Z. This is how they handle X, Y, and Z situation. And you just take in that data. Now, depending on the nature of the relationship, because you would obviously gain more data about a potential romantic interest than your boss. Imagine that these are two separate people. You're not trying to date your boss. Whole nother topic. But I'm just saying, so certain people you're going to be around more and you're going to dive a little deeper into the relationship. So in some cases you can a little more easily gather data than others. So depending on the depth of the relationship, if there's things that you may not like about how someone handled something or a situation that occurred between you two, you can definitely have a conversation about it. But believe patterns, not apologies. If someone repeatedly does something that offends you or is disrespectful or anything along those lines, once, address it. Have a conversation, Don't come into it accusatory or anything like that. Just say, hey, when you said X, Y, and Z, it made me feel X, Y, and Z, moving forward, can we, kind of do that a little differently, X, Y, Z. But if you have to repeatedly go over the same thing and it becomes a pattern, believe that. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Don't try to keep giving benefit of the doubt. Don't try to keep making excuses. A person is who they are. They are who they are. And if you've tried to make changes within yourself, you can imagine it's damn near impossible to change someone else, change someone that doesn't want to change. Because you recognize within yourself that it's not the easiest thing to do. A person has to change because they want to, which is back to my initial point. If you're going to make a change, do it for you. So don't ever try to change another person. It's just, it's not even worth it, and it's not going to pan out. And then the flip side of the first example, where if you were changing for someone else, if you try to change someone else, they're going to resent you instead of the other way around. So just avoid that altogether. Don't try to push anyone to be anything that they're not. A person is, you are who you are, and either that's okay with you or it's not. And if it's not okay with you and it's been addressed and it becomes a pattern, then you may want to reevaluate that or just remove yourself. But don't try to ever change another person, okay? And lastly, don't let a disaster or a tragedy or something along those lines always be the catalyst for you wanting to change something. This happens a lot sometimes when we experience death in a family or in a loved one. And then you start thinking about, I wish the family would have gotten together more often. You see people that you may not have seen in a long time, and you're like, let's get together, let's get closer. Things shouldn't be like that. Regularly, just kind of take a look at yourself and also your relationships with other people, and just take that time to just maybe check on a friend or check on a family member. Don't let something, a catastrophic situation be really the only time that you kind of sit and just evaluate if there's anything that you want to change. It could be anything. It could be, let's say you have an issue with procrastination, and then something happens, in your life, in your personal life with your family, however, or maybe, someone passes away and you're like, I've been meaning to go visit this person. I've been meaning to call them. I've been meaning to check on them. You know what I mean? And that happens with us a lot, because sometimes we can get so caught up in our own lives and in our day-to-day and different things that sometimes we let, other things or family or friends kind of fall by the wayside, and we think, I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll always have more time. And, I mentioned this in a previous video. Tomorrow's not promised. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. So as cliche as it is, don't keep putting off till tomorrow what you can do today. And this is just an example of if procrastination is something that you deal with. It may be something else. But, kind of just regularly just kind of sit with yourself sometimes and say, okay, let me look at these different aspects of my life and just evaluate, okay, am I happy with X, Y, and Z? Am I happy with my circle of friends? Am I happy with my relationship? Am I happy with my career? Are there any goals that I want to work on that I have this idea and I just haven't taken the time to sit and work on it? Just kind of do that on, somewhat of a regular basis, and just kind of check in with yourself so that it won't take something, crazy happening for you to really sit and have those type of thoughts, with yourself and kind of figure things out. But yeah, don't, change, evolution, growth. I am all for that. I'm all for self-examination. If you feel as though there's something that you want to change or improve, wonderful. But never change solely for the purposes of someone else. You're going to become resentful and it's not going to stick. And don't ever try to change anybody else. We are adults. We can all have conversations if we value that relationship, of course. And if there's room for improvement, we can address it, absolutely. But don't ever try to force change on another person. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. I thank you guys for chilling with me, and I hope that this video just offered you some type of inspiration or just a kind word to help you kind of get through the week. If this is something that you can relate to, please subscribe to the channel, like, and share this with someone else. Also, feel free to shop my site at mingcosmetics.com. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day and an amazing rest of your week.